Good morning, everybody. This is Brad Reed. I am a real life trader, and I'm here reminding you to be good. By good, I mean get out of debt, achieve your financial dreams, and give generously to your community. I'm joined by Art out in Salinas, California, and my dad, Ed Reed, in Austin, Texas. How you guys doing?
Good morning, everyone. Is this microphone working?
Yep, you sound great.
All right. Well, here we go. Another beautiful day on opportunity for real life traders to prosper.
Yes, it'd be so great if my computer would work. Interesting. Oh, you know what? It's gonna load really slow. Maybe this will help. Art, you there? You doing all right, buddy?
I am here. Good morning. I'm doing well. And good morning, real life trading.
Alrighty, I wanted to try and record a quick video this morning. This is part of the Financial Fundamentals series, and I'm going to skip right through some of the intro stuff. But basically, want to talk about three of the most important financial concepts that most people don't understand. And I think this is a big reason why the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. So I got 13 minutes, so let's go pretty fast. Number one, when I go talk to people and I'm talking about money management, and I say, why do you guys want to get out of debt? The most common and most frequent answer I get is, so we can get more and better loans on cars or houses, or we can go to the store and get loans for furniture. And of course, the whole problem here is that people say they want to get out of debt so they can go back into debt even faster and deeper. Most people don't understand that debt is the opposite of wealth. Most people think when they go buy a car or buy a house or buy a couch and they take out a loan for it, they think that that's making them wealthy, when in fact it's making them even more broke than they were before. So if you have $0, but you also have zero debt, you are broke. And the surprising thing is you are better off than millions and millions and millions of people in America, because there's something like 50% of Americans are in debt, or more than 50%. So if you start to gain some mass, some money, and you avoid debt, you become wealthy. And of course, the goal for most of us is to gain enough wealth that the rate of return we get from investing that wealth will exceed our expenses. And maybe for some of us, we want to get so much wealth that we can give it to someone else and they can get some awful rate of return and still exceed our expenses, and then we can go off and do lots of fun stuff and really not worry about our money. Now, if you are broke and you take out a loan for something, you don't get rich, you are in debt. You now owe that money, and you don't just owe that money, but you owe that money plus interest payments, plus hidden finance fees, plus the risk that the person took to loan you that money in the first place. And of course, a lot of that risk is in the interest rate. If you do like I did when I was in my 20s, I got a little bit over 220 grand in debt, and I was royally hosed. So you want to be sure as you are managing your money that you are going towards the wealthy side and avoid debt for all reasons. And here's just a quick example. The rule is don't buy something unless you have cash for it. A house is just about the only example I can think of, because a house very reliably increases in value. Everything has a huge opportunity to decrease in value. So let's go say you want to buy a new car, and the new car costs $20,000, and you've saved up $2,000. That's a 10% down payment. So now you owe $18,000, and you're feeling pretty good about yourself because you saved up some money and you now have a brand new car, and you are rolling like you are wealthy, like you are rich, because you have a new car and you saved up money and you put a huge 10% down payment. However, once you buy the car and you drive it off the lot, or actually once you sign the papers, the car is now worth $17,000 at best. Because if you go to sell that car, no one wants your crummy old used car, even though it has 3 miles on it, because they can turn around and buy a brand new one for just a little bit more. And then it gets even worse, because if you were to wreck that car, or if it were to get stolen, or for some reason you need to file an insurance claim on it, you only get what's called wholesale value. So the insurance is only going to pay you about $14,000. So let's recap. Excuse me. Oh man, sorry, I thought I hit the mute button. At any rate, let's recap. You saved $2,000, which is a lot of money, and you bought a brand new car thinking that you were wealthy, but instead you are now somewhere between $1,000 and $3,000 in debt. And you are, if you look at the money line at the top, you are going away from wealthy, you are going away from being rich. Now, as you can imagine, the banks love you. Why? Because you are now stuck, connected to that bank, and you have to pay them that money back, or else they're going to wreck your FICO score. The only people that have good FICO scores are the people that are good at getting into debt. And getting into debt is the opposite of becoming wealthy and rich. It's very surprising, but really wealthy people have horrible FICO scores. Why? Because they don't go into debt. The FICO score is controlled by the banks and the credit agencies, and they have spent lots and lots of money to make you think that if you have a great FICO score, that you will be taller, that you'll be skinnier, that you'll be healthier, that you'll be stronger, you'll be more attractive, you'll have a better sex life, all by having a big FICO score. And the only thing a big FICO score is good for is for going into debt. So don't be fooled by that illusion. A FICO score is a good FICO score is not necessarily a good thing. Now, if we were to get a little bit more real, you don't owe $18,000 after you buy a new car, because you have to pay interest, you have to pay taxes, you have to pay finance charges. And if you finance the car at 3% interest for 48 months and you pay 5% in taxes, you will end up paying a total of $22,186.51 for the $20,000 car. That's right. If you take out a loan, not only are you going in debt and going away from your financial goals, but you're actually going to pay more for that car than you thought. Now, the payment on that car would be about $420. If you invested that money and you earned a 10% rate of return, after 42 months, you're going to have $21,000, which is the price of the car plus the 5% tax. Man, again. Now, the kicker on this whole thing is that if you're a wealthy and rich person and you've been saving up the money and you've been growing your money, you're going to end up contributing $17,663.31 into your savings fund, which you're growing at 10% annually. And granted, 10% is 5R a year. And most of us on this day trading floor are trying to get 5R or more per month. But if you only get 5R per year, you will have contributed $17,600 to buy that car. So the rich people are paying less for the same car that poor people are taking out a loan for. So imagine how much easier it would be to get wealthy and get rich if you're paying 25% less for stuff than everybody else, because you're saving up your money, you're growing it, and you're paying cash for it instead of going into debt. So again, debt is the opposite of wealth. Do not take out loans for stuff. Save up your money and buy it in cash. Now, Albert Einstein said the most powerful force in the universe is compound interest. And the tricky thing is, most people don't even know what that means. You talk to most financial experts and they'll even stumble over how to describe it. But basically, the longer your money grows, the faster it grows. The law of 72 says an investment doubles every 7 years at 10% rate of return, or a 10% interest. And I like to say money doesn't grow on trees, but money grows like trees. So if you take a tree seed and you go plant it in your backyard, in 5 to 7 years, you may have a stick coming out of the ground with a couple of years on it, and it's pretty boring and uninspiring. Another 5 years or so, and you get this straggly looking thing that makes the Charlie Brown Christmas tree look good. But if you give it another 5 or 7 years and you've got a 10 to 20-year-old tree, you've got a nice looking tree out in your yard. But if you give that tree 20 to 30 years, you have this huge, enormous, beautiful tree that actually adds value to your house. And that's kind of what we're trying to do with our retirement funds. You plant a seed and you let it grow and you don't touch it. And if you do this with your money, it can grow into an enormous, gorgeous tree. Now, if you started off with $100,000 in 2014, and it doubles at 10% rate of return, that means it doubles every 7 years. That $100,000 that you started with will become $1.6 million by 2042. Now, the cool thing is that in that last 7 years, it's going to go from 800,000 to 1.6 million. That's a huge amount of growth. That's over $100,000 each year. But the hard part is that the first part, your $100,000 grows very, very slowly. And when you're looking at your bank statements, you're like, oh my gosh, this is painful, because I'm would love to go spend that money, but instead it's just sitting out in the yard, turning from the seed into an ugly twig with a couple of scrappy leaves on it. But if you can be patient, if you can let it go, that compound interest is really going to work in your favor. Now, this is what the credit card companies like to do. They like to get you into debt. So let's say if you're age 22, you're in debt by $5,000, and you just let it sit there and grow. If you don't take care of it, your debt will grow with compound interest and can grow obnoxiously large. So the important part is to start getting on that debt, get it knocked out, get it taken care of, get it done and over with. An investment, a retirement account, can grow like a beautiful tree, but your debts will grow like weeds, and they can take over your yard, and they can take over your life, and it will become a royal pain to go and pluck each one out one by one. Everyone should retire a millionaire, because if you invest $4 per day and you get 10% rate of return, which is the stock market average, from age 22 to 65, that's $1 million. So most people don't know this, and that's why most people don't retire millionaires. But just putting away a little bit each day and letting it grow, don't touch it, staying out of debt, can lead to financial success. Inflation is the most dangerous thing you don't understand. You guys have heard me talk a lot about inflation. When my dad was in high school, a cheeseburger and soda cost about 40 cents. When I was about 5 years old, that same burger and soda cost about $2 or $3. Nowadays, it costs close to $5 or $7, and you need to think about, when you get ready to retire, how fast have the prices of things gone up, and during your retirement, what are they going to be at the end of your retirement, and will you be able to afford those if your nest egg savings goes down, but the prices of things go up? At 4% inflation, prices double every 18 years. Which means during a 30-year retirement, prices will triple. So if you retire today, by the end of your retirement, a cheeseburger, fries, and a soda are going to cost $20 to $25. And the cost of housing will triple. The cost of transportation will triple. The price of putting food in your refrigerator will triple. So you got to plan for these expenses at the beginning of your, at the end of your retirement, not just for the beginning of your retirement. So, wrapping up, getting out of debt is good, because going into debt is getting on your way to becoming a royally hosed. Getting out of debt is starting to become wealthy to achieve your financial dreams of retirement. Invest as much and as often as you can. Set up a budget. Almost all rich people have a budget, and they know how much they can spend. When poor people get some money, they think about what they can buy with it. When rich people get some money, they think about how they can invest it. You will never be able to out-earn your spending habits. This is why 90% of people that win the lottery file bankruptcy after 1 year. That's not saying that they run out of money. That means that they are so royally hosed that they have to file bankruptcy after winning the lottery. 60% of professional athletes, basketball players, football players, baseball players, these guys that we dream of, that make the big bucks, most of them file bankruptcy because they outspend their earning habits. So invest as much as you can and prepare for inflation. If you have questions, comments, or concerns, please email me with questions. I do hold free retirement planning sessions for people to help them understand what inflation is going to do to during their lifetime, what their retirement goal needs to be, and what rate of return they need to seek between now and when they retire. And then with that, you can go either talk to your financial advisor or come up with a plan to achieve your financial goals. All right. Thank you guys for listening. And as always, trade on logic, not on hope.